Hey, I'm Antonio D'Amico, and this is D&D with a twist. In this series, I rummage through whatever the D&D equivalent of the Disney Vault is. Pick a thing, could be a class, could be a monster, could be a race, could be anything. I give you a rundown of what that thing is, and then we see how we can give that thing a new spin to surprise your players or DMs. It's like one of those makeover shows, except the ones crying here are those people on Twitter that complain every single time anything changes in D&D since 1974. Let's get started. So when I think of hags, I think of...
Ooh, I'm a mountain biking vampire witch from the future. F my with a rake, Mom.
Hags are the monsters for girl bosses and adults that spend too much time at Disney parks. Many monsters in D&D are created to represent a common fantasy trope. Hags are here to represent
evil grandmas.
The evil queen from Snow White, Ursula the Sea Witch from The Little Mermaid, Madame Mim from The Sword and the Stone, Cher from Tangled. Most members of whatever Disney calls their B Squad to the Princess A-Team are examples of the roles that hags fill in the monster manual. Hags in D&D are part of the Fae, the people of the Feywild, a magical, enchanted realm of absolute madness where no rules apply and chaos reigns supreme, like a Tinkerbell-themed frat house. However, hags are sort of the odd ones out as Fae go because they don't really care about beauty in the slightest and value their freedom above anything else, which might be why you often find them in the material plane, since they don't really vibe with the Fae and the Fae courts and all that mess. Ugh, the Fae. Hags are therefore not part of the Seelie or the Unseelie court. They value freedom tremendously and do what they want at all times. But what does a hag want? The main thing about hags is that they enjoy two things: being ugly and being mean. Contrary to other Fae, hags have absolutely no intention of looking beautiful, and enjoy twisting beauty as far as it can go, making their appearance and surroundings as ugly as humanly and non-humanly possible. They also want other people to be as miserable as they can be, and will always strive to maximize the amount of suffering they can inflict. Hags are by nature selfish, but will absolutely go out of their way to make someone unhappy if the opportunity arises. There are sources that say that they don't do this just for kicks, but that they actually grow in power the more they make people suffer. And I actually like that better, so I'll use that later. At the end of the day, hags pursue their goals single-mindedly no matter the cost. Look out for themselves and what they need, and do what they want to do. And you gotta respect that even if it's just a little bit.
This is my fight song. Take back my life song.
Hags are solitary, and if they form groups at all, it will only be with other hags. These groups are called hag covens, and they are the coolest thing in D&D. Basically, some hags decide that as much as they love being alone while they're busy making people's lives worse, they'd rather get together to become more powerful and do the exact same thing but better. When hags are in a coven, they get access to coven magic, a brand of the very powerful D&D school of magic known as NPC magic, which includes all the cool spells that you players will never get to use, but I do because I'm the DM and you're not. They get a whole bunch of very useful spells that you can read on your own, and a fantasy CCTV camera system called a Hag Eye that lets them see through it whenever they want. Hey, you! Yeah, you! This is private property! My favorite part of this whole thing is that even if a group of hags are in a coven, they are very much not required to get along.
F off, Janet. I'm not going to your f***ing baby shower.
A major antagonist of your campaign could be three evil grandmas, constantly bickering at each other over what would be the best way to make your party suffer. Nothing is stopping you from making the big bad evil guy of your long-running campaign be the three witches from Hocus Pocus. Don't let your dreams be dreams, kids. As they stand in vanilla D&D, hags are honestly amazing bad guys for any campaign. They are smart, they are tricky, they scale well in levels thanks to hag covens, they can interact with players in things other than basic combat, they have cool lore attached to them, they conjure a very specific and recognizable image in players' heads, they can be packed with personality, and make for incredibly iconic antagonists. Can you tell that hags are my favorite monster in D&D? If you're running hags, you have a ton of options of what their plans are. You could go with the classic, little old lady in need is a hag in disguise that is waiting in the wings to betray the party's trust. You could go with a hag knowing some sort of secret information that the party needs to proceed on their quest, and have them make a bargain that will totally not bite them in the ass later. There are infinite options as to what a hag wants to do, and they all lead to pain. And this is all well and good, but what if we switched it up? So, there are people with some strong opinions on things, and at the risk of summoning the dreaded discourse, I'll say that I don't think that entire races of sentient beings that have individuality and can reason and talk and feel can be considered universally evil by their very nature. It has some, let's kindly say, unsavory real-world implications that are just bad. They're bad, just bad. Don't do it. Now you may think, hags are not people, they are magical fey creatures. They could all be evil. And yes, that's true. In canon, hags are defined as only caring about making others feel miserable and furthering their selfish goals. Their stat blocks list all hags as evil. Now, my main problem with this, other than those real world implications mentioned before, it's that what's the word? Oh, yeah, boring.
Borning.
It's boring to have a full race of beings that only care about being evil and making people suffer. And for a very, very simple reason. Your players will always know what every hag they ever encounter in every campaign will want before they even talk to her. Every single time. It's why 90% of hag plots are about the hag hiding the fact that she is a hag. Because it's kind of hard to be a mastermind manipulator if anyone can take one look at you and know that whatever you're planning is not gonna be good.
Oh, dagnabbit!
It's in fact so boring that official designers have gone back on this massive generalization by making hags that care about other things and develop friendships and motherly bonds and want to protect those they care about. This doesn't even make it so hags can't be evil, but it gives them more of a range of what their motivations can be. So with that in mind, what if we come up with some hags that you can throw at players as enemies, or dare I say it, NPCs to interact with? Let's go. So hags boil down to the most basic of basic things. Get it? Boil down? Are ugly fey grandmas that want to see people suffer. They have a need to make people miserable, as if they fed on the pain of others. What if there were other kinds of hags that fed on different emotions? Maybe show some more of that amoral side of the fey. Let's make some hags based on that. Gentle hags. Hags that feed on happiness. Gentle hags, contrary to what their name and affable demeanor may imply, can be extremely destructive. They will do all that is in their power to make people feel happiness, especially those that make deals with them. But they see no point in those people bettering themselves, or in helping them do something that may not make them happy in the moment, but will make them happy later. They are content to feed on a shallow, meaningless happiness. Through their powers, they will grant that immediate happiness, which can be good, or can lead to people abandoning all of their obligations and ruining their lives in the pursuit of that feeling of empty bliss. People that have given themselves to the powers of these hags lose themselves in a stupor, becoming shadows of their former selves, their minds withering away as shallow happiness dulls all their senses, like a smiley zombie. Left unchecked and with enough power, a gentle hag will accrue more minions than any other hag. And these minions are the most loyal a hag could ever wish for, as they will defend the source of their happiness with their lives. Some gentle hags make their homes in busy tourist towns, establishing spas, pleasure houses, casinos, and other places of simple pleasures. Gentle hags are wise enough not to pull too many into their perpetual stupor, so that they don't attract adventuring parties looking for whoever has convinced half the town to stop doing literally anything, which only makes them more powerful as they become more of a fixture in the city they inhabit. Court hags, hags that feed on ambition. Court hags stand out from the rest of their sisters due to their appearance. They are the most likely out of all hags to live among mortals, and since they usually find themselves next to people in very high positions of power, they tend to dress to blend in with that particular section of the population. These hags feed on people's needs to rise to power. Their modus operandi is not to trick mortals. They will actually help whatever mortal has signed a deal with them in achieving their personal goals. The caveat is that if the mortal they are helping is satisfied once they have reached their goal, this hag would be left without sustenance, since there wouldn't be more ambition to feed on. That means that a court hag will always push the person they are helping to accomplish another goal, once they've reached the one they had been working towards. Court hags will make a new ambition arise as soon as the past one has been achieved, and they will guide a mortal through their path upwards, constantly pushing them to reach a new objective, shifting the goalpost ever higher in order to feed on their rising ambitions. Some of the most stellar careers and accomplishments have been made by individuals that were helped by one of these hags, but some of the most spectacular and destructive meltdowns and burnouts have had these hags to blame. Pillow Hag, a hag that feeds on love. Commonly referred to as Celestinas, they can be distinguished from their sisters because they tend to be much shorter than the regular hag. These hags derive infinite pleasure from finding the perfect match and bringing two lovers together. The lovesick or the loveless often seek their help to find their other half. They are often considered the least threatening type of hag, as they are content with bringing two compatible people together. However, they are not entirely harmless, as they are not above using charms and their signature brews if a person proves hard enough to find a match for. They have also been known to push teenagers and those with a lack of common sense to pursue a relationship that would undoubtedly end in tragedy. It's said that most tales of two lovers from two warring families often have a pillow hag to blame for their cursed love. Haunt Hag, hags that feed on fear. These hags are famous for their emaciated, skeletal look and the unusual way they operate. They like to set their lair in abandoned houses, dark forests, dusty manors, and fog-heavy cemeteries. Then they get to work. They fill their lairs with as many opportunities to scare anyone unlucky or stupid enough to wander into them. They enlist the help of their familiars and other minions to assist them in their efforts to create the scariest place they can. When the lair is ready, they use their powers of clairvoyance to see the fears of anyone that walks into the lair, and then they twist their illusions to capitalize on that fear, making spiders rain from the ceiling, or materializing the figure of a stalking clown, or making tiny holes appear on people's skin for some reason. As horrible as a haunt hag's handiwork can be, they are often considered to be relatively harmless, as by the nature of the emotion they use for substance, they won't seriously harm anyone. They are content with scaring them as much as possible. They are seen as tricksters more than murderers. And that's it. Those are the 4 hags with motivations other than be evil. As you can see, they can be all antagonists and cause the PCs and those around them a lot of trouble, but they could also be really cool NPCs. Imagine an adventure where the PCs find a town where more and more people have decided to stop working, stop feeding their families and themselves, and spend all their time in that new bathhouse that opened not long ago in the outskirts of town, only to find it to be the handiwork of a Gentle Hag. Or an adventure where a magical circus has enlisted the help of a Haunt Hag to manage their haunted house attraction, and the PCs get to face their worst fear and come out stronger because of it. Maybe a Gentle Hag is a big political figure in a port city because her casino attracts tourists from all over, and the PCs need to convince her to endorse and help the resistance. If only these hags were easy to put into your games. Wait, oh my god, what's that?
Oh my god! What is that?
Yes, it's 2 fully written and illustrated stat blocks for the Gentle Hag and the Haunt Hag, with lair actions and coven variants. You can download them in the description for free. Fill every corner of your adventures and backstories with hags, or else. And that's the end of the video. This one took a minute, but I'm very passionate about hags, so it needed to be done. Now, as you can tell, I am very, very new to all of this, so I would appreciate it a whole lot if you inflated the algorithm with some comments and some likes. Sharing it outside of YouTube helps a ton. If you could do that, that'd be great. And this is more for my self-esteem, but click subscribe. I'm sure it helps too. Dude, like, yeah, if you'd be so kind, that'd be very nice of you. Oh, and a little bit of a quick update. I'll be posting videos on Friday now, so next Friday, my next video will come out, and then it's gonna be Fridays from now on. These take a long time to make, so we might have to switch to a 2 weeks schedule. We'll see. If it happens, I will let you know. And I also have a Twitter for screaming. If you want to see that, links down below, I guess. And yeah, that's the end. Go to bed on time, do your homework, eat your vegetables, and yeah, love you. Bye. Mwah.